I'm never happy with my nails. You're just not satisfied. You're really hard on yourself. We're going to talk you through this right now on the Biz Talk. I'm never happy with Tracey. On a daily basis, I walk in and I throw a tantrum. I'm not happy. That was a cool noise, wasn't it?
What was that?
I don't
sounded
know.
like a dying bird.
I don't know how your voice gets so high pitched. It's like so annoying, but every time you do it, I'm like, wow. I'm like fascinated. So like the annoyance part like gets masked by the fascination part of like how high you can do that. I don't know how you should have been a singer.
No, nobody wants that.
Sing us a tune, Tracey.
No.
Which by the way, 5 minutes ago, ladies and gentlemen, I was singing a song. I forgot the name of the song already.
And he's trying to claim that he made up the song.
I made the freaking song
Something
up.
about It's My World.
And it's my world. You're just living in it, right?
That's a song. There's a song. Help me out, guys. Do it again.
Living in it. There's no song.
No, you have to sing more of it. But
No.
there's a song in there that he is ripping off, and I just can't figure out which one it is.
Here's what I'll say. Huge compliment. Thank you. The fact that they both said, I've heard that song before. There's a song. It was a huge compliment. Basically, what it meant was like I just created a song that is just living in your head. And thank you guys for that compliment. So I appreciate it. If you can figure the song out, let me know. There's no song. I'm telling you.
I'm gonna. Don't worry. I'm gonna. Vic,
just.
You can play it at the end when I figure it out. I'll send it to you.
Okay, do that, Vic. In the meantime, we're going to talk about a topic that is all too common. And Tracey was actually, I mentioned this before we started, and she's like, that's actually a real thing, right? Never being satisfied with your nails. And as I just said it, I realized it is a real thing because I remember talking to a bunch of nail techs overseas and how they had all these pictures, but they don't post them. They're never satisfied. Look at this, like picking their nails apart.
The blowing it.
Yeah, zoom.
Get a 18 by 18, which Greg's getting their family portrait
of. Yeah, so am I actually. It's just huge pictures we're getting.
It's just massive.
I know. I have not one family picture in my house, and now I'm getting an 18 by 18. It's awesome. I'm putting it like, I'm going to blow that thing up even bigger. It's going to be rad. Okay, so why is this the case? Why is it that nail techs, like I've seen so many beautiful sets of nails. Why are they never satisfied? Like, what is that?
It's yours. I'm never satisfied with my nails.
What the hell?
No, this is a real thing. It is. I will do a set of nails and I just have to walk away from it. Like I know things are correct, and I just walk away. Then I'll see them a couple months later. I'm like, oh, I really like that set. But at that moment, there's that's just like, other people aren't going to like it, and the shape is probably off, and everybody's going to notice this, and it just all this stuff goes through your head.
Okay,
it's kind of like having a picture of yourself, and you're like, I hate that picture. I look old and fat, and then like 5 years later, you're like, damn, I wish I looked like that. It's the same with nails.
Yeah, I see a picture of myself, and I'm like, God, you're sharp, boy.
I knew this was coming. I knew.
I actually don't. Well, that's a whole different topic. Let's stay on topic because I'll start to go off in a different direction. I don't want to do that. So, okay, I understand what you're saying, but what is that like? Is it, I mean, you're obviously, like when you do a set of nails, and I didn't know that you'll have those thoughts initially, right? But when I see your nails, Tracey, like, and I've seen a lot of nails.
Right.
I've seen your nail. I've seen Greg's nails. I've seen a lot of techs come through here, do nails, trade shows. Like, I'm someone that has seen a lot of nails. When I see your nails, I'm like, those are beautiful. Like we did a Twitch stream today. You know what I mean? Tracey did a set of nails, or was that yesterday? She did like these galaxy nails that were they were beautiful. And I was like, I mean, did you have a thought? Like, I don't really like these, or?
Are you kidding me? Because, okay, we're on camera, right? Live.
Yeah.
And she's all Star Wars, which I'm a huge fan of, but I don't
I know.
I don't know hand art.
I know.
I was freaking out inside my head.
Were you really?
Yes, and I
Man,
didn't
you played
like
it
him
off
at
good.
first, and I just kept on playing with it, and then I'm like, oh, I like it.
Okay, so you did like him at the end, though.
When I came in today, I looked at him and I said, oh, I do like this.
You know what? I remember because when we sat down, you're right. When we sat down before today's stream, you're like, hey, I kind of like these. And I looked and I said, Tracey, they're beautiful.
Yeah.
And so that did happen. That does happen.
It does happen.
But don't you think that, like, I think that's real. And I'm glad that you're acknowledging that even you do it. I think a lot of people will be surprised, that you even have those thoughts. I think it's going to help a lot of people to know that, okay, that's kind of a normal thing. You'll look at it and not be satisfied.
It's totally normal. But you can't let that prevent you from moving forward.
There you go.
So like people are always like, when do you feel like you have nails figured out? When do you become a master? I am not a master. I don't feel like I have nails figured out. There's
You
days
actually
that
are, but
but I'm saying
I
that
know.
I've never had that feeling of.
I know.
And there's days that are worse than others that I walk in, I'm like, holy crap, everybody's going to figure out I'm a fraud. This is the day. This is the day.
Yeah.
But, so for me personally, I've never had that feeling of like, oh, I just do an amazing work. But with the fact that I built a clientele, I am where I am. I do the things that I do. People must like my work.
Yeah.
I'm just going to move forward.
Yeah.
Until they all figure out I'm a huge fraud. And today's the day.
There's an actual, that's an actual thing.
Yeah.
I forgot what it's the technical name for it. It's like a, something complex, not in a like bad way. It's actually,
No, it's the name of it. I know what you're talking about.
You know what I'm
though,
talking about,
yeah.
right? It's for like people that, typically like overachievers that excel, but, they're not like, they're very critical of their own work, right?
Yep.
Which is part of what makes you really good at what you do, right? If you're, I think there's a healthy criticism that should be there where,
of course,
because if you're always doing nails and like from the beginning, if you're like spot on,
like
these are rocking,
it's like this big on your nail.
dude, the nail's like 8 feet long and you're like, perfect size.
Yeah.
What?
Love
Perfect
the
size.
shape. Love the look.
I love the
It's a 2x4.
It's like hitting people in the head. It's supposed to do that, So like, obviously you don't want that. And but on the flip side of it, Tracey, you don't want to be like, God, I suck, and then like you give up, and then you're never going to progress anywhere, right?
You will never go anywhere. And here, the thing is you do suck at first.
That's reality.
That's reality.
Right.
I did. Everybody did. But if you stay in that suck mode and mentally, you will never move forward.
Yeah.
I know you hate this. I'm like, always just fake it. I say I fake the confidence sometimes, and I know you hate that. I think you've said that before.
Do I?
Yeah.
I think there's.
And I don't mean that in a negative way, but like sometimes.
No, I know what you mean.
Yeah.
I know what you mean, and I don't think it's. I think at a certain degree, like the general concept of fake it till you make it. Maybe I'm not a huge like. I don't buy into that totally, but I understand what you're saying though, Tracey. Like sometimes you're better than what you believe in, and sometimes you have to kind of trick yourself and be like, "Yo, you know what? I'm good."
You have to fake the confidence. And I do that all the time.
Totally.
Like it's like being your own hype man a little bit.
Dude,
in your brain.
totally.
Yeah.
Totally. I'm down with that though. I think you've got to pump yourself up. You know what I mean? Like even if like you got to be like, I'm an animal. I'm a savage.
Well, do you know how I do it? I do it from an outside point of view. Like I was looking at someone else's work.
That's interesting.
Or what I would tell someone else.
Yeah.
And that usually works for me personally to get me through it.
I like you saying, everybody sucks in the beginning, right? Like today, Tracey and I had, we went live with this streamer on Twitch, and she's 17 years old. Her name is Sommerset. She's she's like one of the best female Fortnite gamers, out there today. She's young. She's amazing. And I was like, it was crazy when she started streaming, which was maybe, I don't know, 6 or 7 years ago. I mean, she was young when she started, really young. She's still young. But when she said, Tracey, she was like, she just started streaming. And like had an audience. And I was like, so were you already good when you started streaming? She's like, no. She literally said, I was trash.
Yeah.
Like I sucked, but I just did it.
Yeah.
And I was like, dude, for a kid, you know what I mean? You're 11, 10, 11, 12 to just be like, you know what? I know I'm not good, but I'm going to keep doing this. It's amazing.
Not even that. It's because other people are telling you you're not good while they're, you know, on the Twitch. You're like, wow. I mean, for her to push through that at such a young age, that was
pretty
quite
amazing.
And what also she said, I don't play the Fortnite, right?
Fortnite.
But she said there's different modes, and there's one mode that
Yeah.
her and her team kind of suck at.
Yeah.
And she's like,
just do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I really love this. All applies to like, you know, any nail tech that's kind of in that zone. But there's a mode in Fortnite. It's called creative mode, where you can practice. You can practice like your technique, and like in Fortnite, there's a thing called building, where you build and you can practice that. And that's why I was asking her, do you practice in creative? She's like, no, I just play. Like that's her practice, which for nails too, it's like, you got to start taking clients, right?
Honestly, how many times have we preached that?
Big time.
Like when will I be good enough to do clients? You got to jump. Let's just jump.
Yes.
Like we're gonna screw some things up. Let's jump together, you know. But
yeah, and that's terrifying.
it's
right?
horrifying.
It's horrifying knowing that people are gonna get mad at me, clients are gonna be unhappy, but I still have to do it.
Yeah.
That's where that's the true definition of like being courageous. Like knowing this is not gonna go well, but I'm gonna do it anyway. That's how you gain confidence, right? Like you start to, like you make mess ups, and then you have that first solid set, and the client's like, oh, I love these. And you can genuinely see in the client's eyes that they love them, and you're like, oh my God, yes.
Yeah.
You know?
It's a beautiful feeling, but even then, like I said, it's just, for me, when I did Kira's nails a couple weeks.
Dude, I loved that set.
Totally like dreading that, like at the end, like I just like, I don't know. I wasn't going to go any further with them. That's the thing about me. Like, I knew the nails were done. I'm not, because people tell me sometimes, well, spend longer on them. You don't know me. If I spend longer, then we're just going to get worse and worse and worse, because I start overthinking everything.
Yeah.
But in my head, I'm like, she's going to tell everybody how much she hates them. She's going to say they all fell off. Like, I have these whole conversations with myself at this point in my career.
In your career.
And then they came out, and I saw the pictures.
They're beautiful.
2 weeks later, and I liked them, but I did not like them then. I knew they were done, and I knew they were good, but in my head, they weren't good.
I think that's though, like the fact that you know they're done.
They're done,
and you know I'm not touching them anymore.
Right.
That's amazing. Even if your initial reaction is like, I wish I could have done this, or I wish they look like this. The fact that you have the discipline, like that's where experience comes in, right? Your experience with doing nails. And by the way, that was a full set of like nail art, full sculpted nail art in like 50 minutes, which was just insane. And you didn't do a set of nails before that for like a year and a half.
Yeah, it's been a while.
So the fact that they turned out as amazing, like to me, if you said I spent 2 hours on them, I would have believed it. They were just beautiful. But still, we are our biggest critics. We are the hardest on ourselves.
Yep.
And I think that is such a huge message that you're sending, Trace, is like, okay, maybe I wasn't happy with them, but they're done.
They're done.
And I'm moving on.
Yeah.
And the next set will come. The next set will come. I'm not going to get hung up and then tinker, right? Start tinkering.
Well, when I'm looking at them and going, they're done. So tinkering with them is not going to improve anything.
Right.
They're done.
Right.
It's just, the whole conversation you're having with yourself about them. Whereas someone else was doing them, you would probably been like, oh, those are amazing and I love them. And that's just me.
Yeah.
But
how often do you, when we have OWC, how often do the students are they like, they'll do a set of nails or a nail and they just keep like playing with it and like hemming and hawing and like not happy?
If you've taken an OWC with me, you know what people say they hear this in their head. Walk away. I walk by them all the time. Walk away, leave it alone. And it's true.
You do it with yourself.
And you're just like, what are you picking at right now?
Yeah.
And I'll tell them sometimes, because it'll be like, what are you accomplishing? Because you're not even putting pressure behind it. So what are you doing besides killing time? But that's, I people that have taken that class will tell me, I hear your voice, and it's walk away.
Such a, for anything, right? Like for anything that you're doing, there's a moment where you got to just stop.
Just
yeah.
stop.
You stop this one, and like you can do a new one.
Yeah. And I'm not, and you know, to talking about that, I'm not saying walking away before it's right.
Right.
I'm like, you're walking away when you're just not accomplishing anything anymore. Right. It's done. The nail is done.
You got to finish the set.
Yeah.
Like you don't want to be mid-set and then it's like, I'm walking away. Screw this. I don't want to do this. Like finish the set.
Yeah. It's like you're literally accomplishing nothing else but messing up the nail at this point.
Yeah.
By playing with it some more.
I think also there's just such a high, you know, not just with nails, but we have, I think it's been drilled in our heads that things need to be perfect, you know?
But who's perfect?
There's, well, besides me, it's hard to find others that share that amazing quality.
There's others out there?
Tracey, there might be. We'll go on a search.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the biggest realization for me, even like with this business, when we put out content, everything that we do, everything is a work in progress.
Yeah.
It's a constant, like you're never finished with any skill, any profession, any, like if you're an artist, an athlete, whatever it is that you do, there is really never a finish line of like, I've done it, I'm perfect. It's fun to strive for perfection as long as you understand that it's not real. Like I understand.
But you will not obtain it because your perfect is not his perfect.
That's
it's
right.
Not her perfect. Not, you know.
It's true. It is. Isn't that weird? That's such a bizarre, I've never thought about that. That's so crazy. Like we think perfect means, well, it's perfect. So it means the same thing for everybody because there's nothing wrong with it. Well, no, it's not true. What my perfect is different.
It's smile lines, for instance.
Yeah.
Perfect to some people are razor sharp, extreme smile lines. And then other people walk up and like, I do not like that.
Yeah.
That's ugly to me. And they want straight across smile lines.
Right.
And then the other person walks up and is like, that's ugly to me. And they want just a semi-smile. Perfect is different.
So now when you get into, we're starting to get like philosophical here, but when you get into the idea that, you know, it's actually subjective. It's not an objective thing. Like it's not concrete. Like we can all agree that's wood, you know, or that's metal, or this is something, I don't even know if that's wood. Is that wood?
It's laminate.
Okay. Sorry. It's not even wood. There you go. I was wrong. It's laminate. So, but the fact that perfection is different for everybody means it's subjective. It's just right there. It's not perfect. Perfect is not even perfect because it's different for everybody.
Perfectly imperfect.
It's perfectly imperfect. Exactly. So I like having the courage, I'm going to say, to know that your nails, maybe you're not totally happy with them, but you're able to like, you know what? The client is happy.
Move on.
I'm going to move on. Even if the client's not happy, I'm going to move on. I'll do a better set next time. You've got to just keep going. If you get caught up in that, oh my God, that mental cage and hell of they're never good and like I suck and dude, you're going to lose your marbles.
Yeah. And what I would say, especially on the posting side of that, you know, my work isn't good enough to post. If everybody in the world felt that way, we'd have no content.
Zero content.
You know, you just got to start. And someone out there is going to appreciate it, you know?
Yeah.
So
you got to find your community and you build your, you know, your peoples and that appreciate your work. And again, there is that fine line. I don't want like, there's a balance of like being critical, not too critical,
yeah,
but then
I've seen it both ways.
Yeah. You know what I mean? But
yeah.
then also like you can't walk around like you don't make mistakes either when maybe your nails need work. So you've got to try to be as objective as possible. There are some fundamentals that exist. Like you got to have, you know, the proper preparation. You've got to have the right nail structure. These things are almost, you know, you can't argue. And then from there, your style comes in and make the nails how you want.
And you
right?
will continue to grow throughout your
Exactly.
whole career of it doing it.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So let us know in the comments below how you deal with your own work, your own nails. Do you like it when you finish your set, or are you a little bit overly judgy on your own work and maybe need to just walk away, as Tracey says? Let us know in the comments below. And also, any other topics you want us to discuss, hit us up in the comments. Thank you, Tracey, so much.
Thank you.
Thank you guys for joining us. We'll see you next time on the Biz Talk.